Hello and welcome to a little art stream that I'm doing. So this art stream is my OC Kaedehara Ryota. So the first thing I did was I sketched him physically on a notebook with pen and paper. Now, in order to sketch him, I used a lot of references and tutorials because I'm a beginner. So the tutorial that I followed is by Colleen. It's called How to Draw Hot Guys Side Profile, something like that. I'll link the tutorial down below. And after I sketched out the drawing, I colored it. So the first thing I do when I color is that I Google color palettes because, again, I am a beginner and I'm not good at color theory. So I had to look for a color palette. And then on my application, which is paint.net, I started filling in like the base colors, and then I did the outlines. Now, how do I make my base colors? I start off with a transparent layer, not really fully transparent, but lowered opacity, and then I layer my colors over that as I see fit. And Paint.net is a free application. Also, because I do not have a tablet, I am drawing with a mouse. So that's the reason why I sketch first before um, I do my coloring, because it's a little bit harder for me to map things out when I'm using a mouse. So as you can see here in this art stream, a lot of art for me is just setting down the layers, messing around with hue and saturation, trial and error, what colors look good, what colors don't look good. And even in the final product, I'm not entirely confident about it, but it's like I always like to say, with art, it's always a work in progress. It's always trying new things out and seeing which one works, seeing what doesn't. And I still really like my OC. I think he's very pretty. um, so, if just in case you wanted to know a little bit about my OC, his name is Kaedehara Ryota. He is, yes, Kaedehara. So he is um, related to Kazuha. But in this world, at least this kind of Genshin Impact, the Archons are dead. So who hands out the visions? The government. And delusions are basically, some of them come from previous visions. So Kaedehara Ryota over here, he inherited Kazuha's animal vision, therefore he has an animal delusion. And what makes him like so special is that he can wield the delusion in the first place, because we know from Genshin Impact that delusions are not easy to deal with. Like, even child Tartaglia, when you fight him, he gets really tired after he uses his delusion. And if you look at the manga, I think Diluc's dad actually dies because of the delusion. So it's a really big deal that Ryota can use his delusion. But the thing is, he doesn't exactly want to use this delusion because he wants to be free. And it's that irony for me of his character that Animo stands for freedom, but because of his delusion, Ryota is never truly free. So I wanted to keep that in mind when designing his character, his Kaedehara descent. So Kaedehara means maple leaf, so I gave him a little maple leaf earring, and because Ryota is like a big, cool, refreshing breeze, I wanted to make him have like cool tones. And the reason why I gave him red eyes is because I also still wanted to tie in the Kaedehara bloodline, which is giving a hint of it through the fact that his eyes are red. Now, his color scheme for his clothes, I initially started off with orange and yellow because I wanted to pull into the autumn theme. But you'll see later on in the stream, I kind of changed that. And the reason why is because, yeah, it's really about trial and error. It's about finding what works and what doesn't, and just experimenting. Same thing with his hair color, actually. Initially, I was supposed to just make him have green, aqua-ish sort of hair, but I decided that I wanted to make him have two colors instead of one. So one of them is like a sort of a darker, closer to green kind of vibe, and the other one is a little bit more on the blue side. Which also, when I thought about his character, it makes sense because he is a hydro user with an animo delusion. So blue and like kind of green or teal. Yes. Um, I had a lot of fun with making Ryota. I think this is the first OC I've drawn in a side profile, so it was really nice to be able to capture his seductive indifference sort of through his eyes and through his expression. And then later on, not right now because I'm messing around with the hair. Later on, you'll see how much difference colors make, because here he looks like he's kind of a bright character, like, or he has hints of being bright and cool at the same time. But later on in the sketch, when I change the color of his clothes, you'll see that he actually enters a more mundane kind of characteristic, which is exactly what I wanted, because his initial personality just goes like, I just want to blend in with the crowd. I don't really want to stand out. I don't want to be noticed by anybody. That's why he rejects his delusion in the first place, because he doesn't want the responsibility that comes with it. But just like I said earlier, he's responsible because, great power comes great responsibility. One of the few people who can actually carry a delusion and who's not a Fatui member. So, you know, got pretty big shoes to fill. No Archons, so who's in charge of making sure that things are orderly? As you can tell, I love him. And it was really fun to make this whole stream, to make this whole process, even though this has actually took me, I think, 3 hours. It's just really fast and the program was lagging so much. But like I said, I had fun and it was totally worth it. So I didn't film the process, but after this I added a background and I messed with the opacity because opacity was a little bit messed up. But here's the final product. I hope you enjoy Rio as much as I enjoyed making him. And thank you very much for watching. Bye!